Imagine planning the happiest day of your life, your wedding, only to have everything come to a stop when a single sentence is spoken. He looks like your lost son. The guests froze, the music fell silent, and the groom's face turned pale. What followed was a chain of events no one could have predicted, a story of love, loss, betrayal, and a truth hidden for years. Stay until the end, because this is a story you will never forget. The grand ballroom sparkled with golden chandeliers, and violins hummed softly as guests filled their glasses. Everyone had gathered to witness the marriage of Charles Whitmore, a man known across the city as a self-made millionaire who built an empire from nothing. Standing beside him was Emily, his elegant fiancée, admired for her kindness and grace. Everything seemed perfect. Until Emily noticed a young man among the catering staff. His clothes were modest, his hands rough from labor, but his eyes carried something familiar, something that made her chest tighten. She leaned close to Charles, whispering words that would change the entire night. "He looks like your lost son." The room stilled as Charles froze, gripping the edge of the table. He hadn't heard that phrase in nearly 20 years. His son, Daniel, had disappeared in a bitter custody battle when his ex-wife left, taking the boy away. Charles had searched everywhere, even hired investigators, but years passed, and the boy was never found. Now, as his fiancée's voice echoed in his ears, Charles turned his gaze toward the young man. The resemblance hit him like a storm. The sharp jawline, the dark eyes, the faint scar above his brow, the same scar Daniel got when he fell from his bicycle as a child. Charles's heart pounded. Could it be? But the moment of recognition was interrupted by whispers spreading across the hall. Guests shifted uncomfortably, curiosity rising like wildfire. The young man, realizing attention had turned to him, stepped back nervously, his tray shaking in his hands. Emily, refusing to ignore what her heart told her, approached him. "What's your name?" she asked softly. The boy swallowed hard. "Daniel," he whispered. The hall gasped. Charles staggered back, gripping his chest, torn between disbelief and desperate hope. But before Charles could reach out, Daniel turned, dropping his tray, and ran out of the ballroom. Charles chased him into the night, his polished shoes clattering against the pavement. Emily followed closely, her gown dragging against the cobblestones. They finally cornered Daniel in an alley, trembling, tears glistening in his eyes. "Why did you run?" Charles asked, voice breaking. Daniel shook his head. "Because people like you don't come looking for people like me." Confused and aching, Charles stepped closer. "I've spent years searching for you. You're my son, aren't you?" Daniel hesitated before pulling something from his pocket, a small, worn-out locket with a faded photo inside. It was of Charles holding a little boy on his shoulders. "My mother told me never to find you," Daniel whispered. "She said you chose money over me." Charles's knees buckled. The truth crushed him. His ex-wife had poisoned Daniel's childhood with lies, turning him against the father who never stopped searching. Emily placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder. "Look at him. Does that look like a man who gave up on you?" The boy's defenses cracked. Tears poured as Charles pulled him into his arms for the first time in decades. Both clung to each other, the years of pain melting away in the warmth of their embrace. But the story didn't end there. As they returned to the ballroom, whispers turned into questions. Some guests sneered, calling Daniel unworthy of the Whitmore fortune. Others speculated it was a scam. Charles stood tall, his arm around Daniel. "This is my son," he announced, voice firm. "And he is worth more to me than all the money in this room." The crowd fell silent. Emily, eyes glistening, slipped her hand into Daniel's. "Welcome home," she said. From that night, Charles vowed not just to rebuild his bond with Daniel but to prove that wealth meant nothing without family. And for Daniel, who had grown up carrying lies and loneliness, it was the beginning of healing, of finding where he truly belonged.